Whether you are new to Google Analytics or using Google Analytics Universal for a long time and switch to Google Analytics 4, you must have noticed that user interactions and other occurrences are reported as events. It's because GA4 uses event-based data instead of session-based. This is a new concept to many and confuses a lot. This is the real-time overview, or you can call it dashboard, from Google Analytics 4 property. It's a card-based interface. You can see a card called users in last 30 minutes at left top, which is reporting 82 users interacted in last 30 minutes. Hover over any bar and you will see how many users interacted in that specific minute. Now, another card is event count by event name, and this appears confusing and complex. Okay. So let's have a closer look at it. And it shows a long list of events, for example, view promotion, page view, scroll, purchases, and there is a number also in front of them. Okay. So this number tells us how many times that event occurred. Okay. So for example, page view occurred 235 times. It means 235 times pages were viewed. Okay. Now at the bottom of it, it shows some number, a pagination. In this case, at this point of time, it is showing a total of 21 different types of events were registered. Okay. So this is a real-time value. This will keep changing. When you look at your property, you might be seeing a different number over here. So let's begin by defining what an event is. And event is an any happening. Event is any happening. Let's take a day-to-day life example. A visitor rings the doorbell. Ringing the doorbell is an event. So what is the response to this event? Somebody opens the door or shouts, "Who's there?" That's the response to the event. If no one is at home, the event will go void. Okay. So there is an event and there is a response. Now we want to know more about this event. Okay. So we can know more about any event by looking at the data associated with it. Okay. So in this specific case, our example, ringing the doorbell, what kind of data associated with it? Okay. So who rang the doorbell and who opened the door or who responded? Okay, at what time the doorbell rang? So this is the data associated with this event called ringing the doorbell. You can call this data parameters. Okay. So there is a parameter in our case, guest name, okay, or the visitor name. So who rang the doorbell? Then there is another parameter called host name, who responded to the event. And there is a parameter called time, at what time the doorbell rang. Okay. So this is the data associated with the event called ringing the doorbell. Okay. Now an event can occur several times in a given period of time. Okay. In Google Analytics 4, as I said, the user interactions and a lot of other things, occurrences are events. Okay. So a page view is an event. Okay. A scroll is an event. A purchase is an event. So there is a long list of events. So if you are looking at the reports for a specific time, so it tells you how many times those pages were viewed. Okay. In our case, our example is of ringing the doorbell. If you're looking at 1 day data, so it rang 10 times. Okay. So it rings 10 times average a day. Okay. So this occurs 10 times a day. So the event called ringing the doorbell occurs 10 times a day. And if you want to know more about the event, we can look at its data, we can look at its parameters. So we want to know how many times the doorbell rang and at what time the doorbell rang. So we'll look at the parameter called time. So its values will be listed. So for example, first time it rang at 10 past 15, or it rang around 11 a.m. and so on. So the time will give you the list when the doorbell rang. Then who rang the doorbell? So you look at the parameter called guest name or visitor name. Okay. And you will see who are the people who rang the doorbell, who responded to the event ringing the doorbell. So you look at the parameter called host name. Okay. And then you will know who responded by opening the door or by shouting. Okay. Now these are examples of parameters of the event called ringing the doorbell. Okay, so time, guest name, host name. Okay, now memorize this term parameter because we'll be using it again. Okay, when we will be looking at the Google Analytics for events, we can add more parameters to it, but we'll not be complicating it at all. Now, relate your understanding of events to the events in Google Analytics 4. And you can see the card event count by event name on this screen, which is showing the list of events that were registered in the last 30 minutes. And we want to know more about the event called page view. Okay, there is a number in front of every event. So this shows us that pages were viewed 235 times. Okay, so the page view occurred 235 times. This tells us 235 pages were viewed, but the question is which pages were viewed. Okay, so you want to know more about it, so you look at the details, the values of the parameters of page view, the event called page view. So to know about the parameters of page view or any specific event in this case, you just click on it. So I'll click on page view, and this will show you the list of parameters of event called page view. Remember our example, ringing the doorbell. Okay, so you can relate to it. So event is page view, the event is ringing the doorbell. We want to know more about the event called page underscore view or page view. We can look at page location. So that parameter will list all the pages, the URLs of all the pages that were viewed in last 30 minutes. If we click on guest name in our example of ringing the doorbell, okay, it will list the names of the people who rang the doorbell. So let's click on page location, and it is showing us the list of URLs that were viewed in last 30 minutes. Okay, so this page was viewed 21 times, this page was viewed 11 times, 9 times, and so on. Let's check it on a live account. So this is Google's official merchandise store. Okay, we know that this is the e-commerce store you buy the Google branded gears from, and this is the GA4 property of this website. This is the real-time view, and we can see a real-time users card. So 73 users interacted in last 30 minutes, and you can hover over any bar and you will see how many users interacted in that specific time, specific minute. So right now it says so right now 0 minute is right now, so one user is interacting. So it is not telling you how many interactions these users had in that specific time. It is only listing the number of users who interacted with your website. So one user might have interacted with 2 or 3 pages or whatever, or scrolled or whatever. Now we look at this card which says event count by event name. Okay, now this is listing all types of events. Remember, almost everything is an event in Google Analytics. When a session starts, this is an event. Somebody scrolls, this is an event. A page is viewed, this is also an event. An order is placed, it is called purchase event. Adding items to the cart, that's an event. So almost everything is an event. Okay, and now we want to know more about any specific event. So let's click on that event. So page view, when you click on it, it will list its parameters. So what is the data associated when a page is viewed? Data associated with a page view can be the URL of the page, the title of the page, who brought the user uh, to the page, their referrer. Okay, and a lot more. So you can see a lot more about it. You can see the session ID as well. Okay, so we click on the parameter called page location, and this is showing us the URLs. Okay, so these are the values of the parameter called page location. You can think of page location as a guest name, and this the list of the people who rang the doorbell. Okay, so this page was viewed 38 times. So this person rang the doorbell 38 times, something like that, to understand it in the simplistic manner. Now this page was viewed 10 times, 9 times, and so on. So let's go back. We click on the back button, and we again go back, and this is listing us. This is listing all other types of events that were recorded in last 30 minutes. So you want to know more about purchase. Let's see that if the purchase event is Okay, right now we don't have the purchase event, okay, because nobody placed an order in the last 30 minutes. That's all right. So we can check view cart, or we can check some other event. Let's say in this case, view cart looks more interesting. So let's do that. We click on it, view cart. So it is showing us every data which is related to the view cart event. So these are the parameters, okay, and you can check that. So if you want to look at the page title, you can click on it, and it is telling you your cart page title is shopping cart. Let's go back, and we want to see, let's say, uh, view search results. So let's click on that. Okay, so this is listing all the parameters associated with the event called view search results. Okay, you want to know more about it, you have to click on the parameter for its values. So you want to know the search term, what was entered, okay, to search something. So this is what it is listing. So somebody entered I am remarkable, and other person entered cat, other person entered yo. So how they are doing it and how it is being recorded, so they are using this search over here. So this is also an event over here, so this is also being recorded. So everything is an event, okay, almost everything is an event. Okay, let me correct it over here. Almost everything is an event. So there is a data around the event, and if you click on that, okay, then you get more information with the help of parameter values. Okay, right now we are not seeing any purchase, so we'll see that in some other video sometimes. Okay, so the purchase event. Now, why it is very important for us to understand what the events are. So first of all, that is how the data is collected and measured. The other thing is the important events are conversions in Google Analytics. So conversions are also events in Google Analytics. So what do? You simply mark the important events to you, and you mark them as important. Some of the events are marked as important, and they are considered the conversions in Google Analytics. So for example, purchase on an e-commerce website is an important event, okay, and it is a conversion. So we mark it. It is, although by default marked it as an important event, and is also uh, marked automatically as conversions. So in some other video, we'll see how do we define conversions in Google Analytics 4. Okay, this is very important to understand to define conversions in Google Analytics. So that part we have already done well. So we know in detail what events are and how do we know more about the events. Okay. So in another video, we'll see how to find the values associated with the event, and then using that value, how to define a conversion. So this is it for now. Thank you. Bye bye.